Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is Amy from With Love by Amy, and today we are taking it back, kind of. We are doing a sentiment background with a whole bunch of stamps that were in my to use bucket, or my use it or lose it bucket, I guess. And I did a video on how I did that earlier in the year, so I will try to remember to link it below for the video. What I didn't show here was all the choices I made from all the stamp sets that I had. The first card I'm going to do is a thank you card, and I decided that I wanted to use that big thank you sentiment that I just picked off the Misty. That one was going to be my centerpiece. And if you see here, I do have some clear stamps and some red rubber stamps. Some of these are really old red rubber, and the red rubber ones are all pretty much all Stampin' Up, I think. The thank you, the big centerpiece one, is also Stampin' Up, but it's a newer one. So what I realized, though, is some of these stamps are, even though they're all red, a lot of them were red rubber, some of them had different thicknesses of foam on them, so it was really hard to do this. But what I did to begin with was I stamped all of the red rubber ones on the background, and then I put the Misty pad in, and I stamped that with those stamps on it, with the clear stamps on there. And then I did the sentiment, the focus sentiment, in a different color. And now we are working on the happy birthday card. So basically the happy birthday card, I did the same idea. I just went through and picked out all the stamps that I thought I wanted to use that looked cool. And they're not all exactly happy birthday. That one that I just put on the Misty, that's going to be the focal sentiment for this card. And see, some of these are just like sentiments regarding birthdays, which I thought was kind of cool. This card was inspired by Jennifer McGuire, and she does it with all like actual words that just say things like happy birthday. I don't think she uses anything like I'm doing, but this was my take on what she did. So one thing I will say, this card was harder to do than the other one because I put the cardstock down there instead of just, knowing the dimensions of the cardstock and figuring out where all the stamps should go based on that. I actually put the piece of cardstock down there. That was a bad move because then I had to move the cardstock and it messed it all up. It made this one take way longer than the other one because I had to actually put the cardstock down there. And if you see that little dark spot on the stamp on the right, it's a piece of that holographic cardstock that I trimmed off the first card. So here we go. We got them all in the right spot. But then look, because I set the cardstock down there first, I have to actually move the cardstock, like move all the stamps off of there instead of just move the rubber mats. And you can tell by my hesitation here that I'm like thinking, what the heck was I doing? And we're also going to try to use a different ink. On the first one, I think I used Basic Gray from Stampin' Up, and this time I'm trying to use, oh no, here's my first of my problems for this card. The adhesive on the back of that stamp didn't stick to the Misty door, so it fell and it messed up my cardstock. And I'm like, oh no, now I've messed up two versions of the card, two sides of cardstock. So I'm going to get a new piece of cardstock here. I think actually I just like practice stamped on it first, but there we are taking out the stamp pad, and we are going to try again. Let's see how this goes. It went okay, but then I realized even though I had the cardstock in there when I started, that first stamp is too far over the edge. So we're going to try again. And at this point, I'm not going to waste any more cardstock until I'm sure everything is in the right spot, because this was a struggle bus. I don't know, the first one seemed to come together so smoothly. This one was a struggle bus. And honestly, I'm not going to link any of the stamps that I used. I'll show you pictures of the packaging of the stamps that I used. We had to pause here for a re-inking break for my colored stamps, or my colored ink pads from Catherine Pooler. I love those inks, but I'm glad I got the re-inkers because they take the ink like crazy. All right, so now we're going to do the clear ones now that we got that inked up. The clear stamps are coming into play, and I think there is one red rubber stamp, that the one that fell off. And that one there that I just put on there, the foam on that one is really thin, so it's about the thickness of a red rubber stamp. So yeah, there's that. I think it's maybe an older Stampin' Up stamp. I'm not really sure, because I noticed there were a couple that had really thin rubber or really thin foam on them. So there, I'm doing this one. I taped it on to the block, and I did it with a stamping block because I didn't want to mess it up because it was a foam stamp. and we were already done with the foam. Those clear rubber, or the clear stamps, they were brand new, so I did take my eraser that you can see over there on the left hand side. I did condition them, because if you don't condition them, they don't stamp very well right off the bat. So here we go. I like this holographic paper, and I decided when I was doing this project that I was going to make the sentiments different, but the cards exactly the same, because I just wanted to see which one you like best. So leave a comment down below, or let me know which one you like best, because I think it's always interesting to find out what everyone else prefers. And I didn't, like I said, I'm not going to link the stamp sets that I used, because I feel like this is a great project that people can use with anything that they have in their stash. And for me, that was the challenge, was using things out of my use it or lose it box that I hadn't used. And so that's what I did. I went through my use it or lose it box, and I picked, so I ended up using a total of 8 stamp sets for the thanks card. And then I used a total of 10 stamp sets for the happy birthday one. But some of them were stamp sets that were used on both of them. So the thanks card, it got 3 unique stamp sets and 5 that were carryovers. Happy birthday, it was half and half. So it got 5 carryovers and 5 unique sets. So I used a total of 13 stamp sets because of the carryover and the unique ones. So I thought that was pretty cool. Here's all the stamps that I used. And one thing I wanted to touch on was that Post-it note that you're seeing on the back of all these stamp sets. That is how I keep track of when I've used my stuff, my stamp sets. And I'm going to do that with my dies eventually too. But all of these were in my haven't used in over a year box. So I grabbed them out. And before I put them away, I'm going to put the date on that I used them. So that's how I'm keeping track of what I'm using. And if I don't use it and I can't think of a project to use it on, then it's going to get donated or given away on a video. But I was really impressed with using all these stamps. And there were actually more that I couldn't fit on these cards. So this is the whole stack of cards that I use, or stamp sets I used. Let me know down in the comments below which one you like better, and would you do this? Also, let me know down in the comments below if you would try this technique and what theme would you do for your cards. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and come back and check out what we have coming up next. I really appreciate it when you like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.